All right, North Korea. North Korea is a belligerent little nation, and we think that it can't hurt the United States, and we may find out differently soon. They have been launching missiles, and just like Iran, they launch missiles, and by the way, they are in with Iran. They launch missiles to a certain height, and then they blow them up. Everybody thought for a while, oh, gee, look, they're such a failure. No, they're blowing them up at exactly the same height, and that height is exactly the altitude that you use for a EMP strike. It would only take 3 EMPs to black out the entire United States. You could launch 2 from the West Coast or the East Coast and the other one from the opposite coast, and you could black out the entire United States. Experts warn, and the Pentagon believes this is the #1 threat to America, that if somebody would launch an EMP strike, 90% of the U.S. population will die within the first year. You want the night of the Walking Dead. It is an EMP strike.
It's a serious threat, and other than global warming, probably the most serious threat.
Right.
Well,
because
yes,
with global warming, we're taking a nature hack through the book of Revelation.
Right.
So.
It's crazy. It's crazy. While people are worried about global warming, you should worry about an EMP.
Oh.
What's happening with
let's see,
electromagnetic
0.9 degree rise in temperature, or all electronic circuitry being fried
so
at
if
once.
you saw an EMP is, do you remember in Ocean's 11 where he said, well, we need a device, and he was standing up and he covers his twigs and berries, and it goes off and it knocks everything out so they can go steal things, and it knocked everything out for 30 seconds. That's the one part of 9/11 that you should, Ocean's 11 that you shouldn't believe. Could they pull that heist off? Yeah, maybe. The EMP would have knocked it out forever. Every computer chip is fried, and so you have to replace every single computer chip. So the problem is it doesn't just come back online, and it would take the United States, if the United States were alone, the only ones, and it would be parts of Canada and Mexico too, the people that would die because refrigeration stops immediately. How many people are on life-saving drugs that need to be refrigerated? How many people are on life-saving medication that you wouldn't be able to get because the CVS is closed for the next 45 days to a year?
That's an extreme example of why you always talk about things like My Patriot supply, where you're getting a food supply. So if, God forbid, something like this does happen, you at least can get through a certain amount of time.
I will tell
that
you,
way.
This is not a paid ad. My Patriot Supply has a deal going on right now for what? You save $300 and you get 3 months of food and everything else.
Yeah.
I would go there. I don't even know the number or whatever, but it's My Patriot Supply. And I would go there because I don't know what's happening with North Korea, but nobody is really paying attention. We are walking up to a line with North Korea that is very spooky. Even if they don't know, I just want you to know, they could take a boat, a non-military boat, and they could bring it up close to our shores, still in international waters, launch a ICBM, 2 of them, launch them over the United States, blow them up in space, and you got nothing. Read the book 1 Second After. It was written by a military guy who was, I believe, part of Space Command for the United States, and had been trying to make the case to the Pentagon and to Congress. The Pentagon gets it, and the Pentagon says this is the #1 threat to America. The Congress won't spend, it's like $100 million to protect us. They won't spend it. Why? I have no idea. But
of all the things we spend money on.
I know.
$100 million, it's really, maybe it's $100 billion. It's nothing in the grand scheme of things. Literally nothing. We waste more than it would take. For some reason, we won't spend the money to protect our infrastructure.
I mean, we do, the Trump budget does add $54 billion to projected spending for, the military, and maybe that's in there. I haven't gone line by line on that yet.
I doubt it. I would hope so. But nobody is really taking this serious in political circles. The military is. Our planes, some of our planes, some of our equipment is has everything wrapped in a Faraday cage, but the average life stops. And this guy is nuts. Do you know what year it is in North Korea? Do you know what the date is today?
What year is it?
Yeah, what year is it?
It's the same year everywhere, isn't it? Is it not?
No, it's the year 105. It's 105 now in North Korea.
A
105?
K?
105.
A
105.
KJ? Is it like they're measuring it from like Kim
Il-sung's birth.
Il-sung's birth. Okay.
And he was born April 15th, 1912. And so,
So there was no time before him?
There was no time before him. It's 105. This is how backward this country is. They have concentration camps there that are horrendous, and we're not paying attention to them.
Well,
everybody wants to look the other way. These concentration camps are filled with people. For instance, if you commit a crime against the state, which is the worst, you say something wrong about the state, it's not just you. You and your family are put into a concentration camp for 3 generations. 3 generations have to pay for your crime.
Wow, that's incredible. I mean, we're dealing with this with the American student who was over there.
Yeah.
It's been, I think, a year now, and the Trump administration's trying to try to fire up negotiations yet again because, again, he was on a academic trip.
Yep.
And he decided he wanted to steal a banner for just a piece of memento from the trip, and got caught, and is 15 years hard labor he got for it. 15 years. Now he's already served a year, and they're trying to get him out because obviously it's a completely absurd punishment
scary
to us.
place.
But man,
it is a scary place.
I said this before. I would love to go there.
So would I.
In theory. Like, I would love to go there and see it. It's an incredible place because it is another world on Earth.
Well, it's so young. It's only 105.
And it's only 105 years old, young, sexy, nubile. But
they have nuclear weapons and missiles, and they have allies like Iran that would like to see us dead.
Right.
And the way to knock out the United States of America is to put us on cave dwelling status. And that is possible. And I would just pay attention to what is happening in North Korea. God forbid an EMP ever happens in America. But the second to the last thing we need is yet another war front. We have to, what are we going to do? We're going to protect Japan from North Korea. Okay, what does that mean? How does China react? All of a sudden, we're going to be in a South Pacific entanglement as well, which will do what to us? And how does this administration react? What happens to us with another war front? We should probably pay attention to that.